Okay, we've got to talk about a pretty shocking story that's been unfolding in Kenya's boda community. Now, if you're a rider, you need to hear this, because the biggest threat to your motorcycle, well, it might not be a random thief on the street. It might be someone you actually trust.
So just try to picture this. There's a young guy working his tail off, making those daily payments on his bike. Then one day, poof, it's stolen. So he goes to the loan office to report it, and what does he see? His bike. His stolen bike, right there in the lender's compound, already cleaned up and looking like it's ready to be sold to the next guy. And here's the truly scary part. This guy's story, it wasn't a one-off. It wasn't just a fluke. His shocking discovery basically pulled back the curtain on a much, much bigger problem, revealing a pattern that's hitting riders all across the country.
And that brings us to what looks like a really coordinated, methodical pattern of theft. I mean, when you start listening to the stories from different riders, they're so ridiculously similar, it's just impossible to believe it's all some big coincidence.
The pattern is it's incredibly consistent. You hear the same things again and again. A bike disappears just a few days before the very last payment is due. Or a rider picks up a friendly passenger who offers them a drink. Next thing they know, they wake up and their bike is gone. The common thread here isn't just random street crime. This feels like a planned operation.
And this is the part that makes you go, wait a minute. These stolen bikes, the ones that vanish in the middle of the night, the ones taken by these sketchy passengers, they keep showing up in the exact same place, back at the very lending companies that finance them.
So you're probably asking, how is this even possible, right? How can a company just take back a bike that was reported stolen? Well, it all comes down to this critical and often totally overlooked loophole in the financing contracts. Let's really break this down.
This right here is the trap. See, when you finance a bike, you feel like it's yours. You're paying for it. But legally, it isn't. The lender's name is the one on the official logbook. And that means until you've made that very last payment, and sometimes even a little while after, the company is still the legal owner. And that gives them a crazy amount of power over you and your livelihood.
This slide just lays it out so clearly. The huge gap between what you think is happening and what's legally true. On the left, that's your reality. You're the one on the road, in the sun, paying for fuel, making those payments day in and day out. But on the right, that's the legal reality. The company holds the papers. They hold all the cards.
And this quote, man, it just says it all, doesn't it? It's a really painful truth that puts thousands of incredibly hardworking people in such a vulnerable spot. And a lot of the time, they don't even realize how big the risk really is.
Okay, so let's talk about the real-world impact. Because this isn't just about some words in a contract or a legal document. This loophole has a devastating, very real human cost for these riders and, of course, their families.
You have to understand, for a boda rider, that motorcycle is everything. It is not a fun little toy for the weekend. It is the tool they use to put food on the table, to pay the rent, to build some kind of future. It is their entire business on two wheels. So you can imagine when that bike disappears, it sets off this horrible chain reaction. The family's income is just gone instantly. And that means kids might go hungry, rent doesn't get paid, dreams just completely fall apart. And the absolute cruelest part of all, the rider is often still on the hook for the debt, for a bike they don't even have anymore. All right, now the whole point of telling you all this isn't to scare you, it's to wake everybody up and arm you with knowledge. So let's pivot away from the problem and get straight to the solutions. Here are some real, concrete things you can do to protect yourself.
This is all about empowerment. It's about you understanding the system, knowing your rights, so you can handle these challenges and protect your investment, protect your future. Your best defense really is knowledge.
Okay, get ready. Here is your 7-point protection plan. Number 1, before you sign anything, demand to know whose name is on that logbook. 2, paperwork is your best friend. Keep every single receipt, every message. 3, put your own security on the bike. A second tracker that the company doesn't know about? That's a game changer. 4, when you make that last payment, don't just wait around. Demand that ownership transfer right then and there. 5, be smart. Be cautious of strangers who seem a little too friendly. 6, there is real strength in numbers. Join up with other riders and share information. And 7, double-check, then triple-check that your insurance is actually active and valid. You know, that 6th point is just so important. When riders actually talk to each other, they can spot these predatory companies. They can warn others about new scams and just build a network of support. A community that talks is a community that's protected.
Look, at the end of the day, the boda industry is like the engine of our local economies. It's getting people to their jobs, it's delivering goods, and it's providing an honest living for millions. So protecting these riders isn't just about being fair, it's about protecting a really vital part of our whole society. So we're going to leave you with this one question to think about. After hearing all this, who do you think is the bigger risk to your motorcycle? The random thief on a dark road, or the very system you trusted to help you get started in the first place? Really think about that. Stay safe out there and stay informed.